Welcome to the Dan and Qasim show. Think big with Dan and Qasim. And our guest today is Scott. And Scott, if you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us, who you are and your story, and I guess, what you do today.
All right. Well, my name's Scott Bradford. I am the Vice President of Operations of SunBuggy Fun Rentals. I've been at SunBuggy a long time, since about 2006, and we have a lot of fun. We have a really unique operation. We kind of had to make things up as we go, and then that's what makes it a creative endeavor, something we really enjoy doing here.
Awesome. So you mentioned to me, obviously, that you're not the founder, but you've been there for a very long time. So I guess what made you want to join the company at that point in time? And, what were things like in the early days? Like, how did you guys come up for, bringing the company to where it is today?
Well, yeah, I just moved to Vegas. I've lived in a lot of places. I've moved around. I've lived in previously Florida, California, Colorado, Washington, Montana, and I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. And I've had a fair share of different careers, a lot of sales and that type of stuff. But most recently in Florida, I was a cable guy installing cable. But anyways, coming to Las Vegas, wanted to make a new start. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and the thought was I was going to either be a pool guy, because I thought that would be nice, drive around, work on pools, or maybe get into the casinos and be a blackjack dealer. I looked into both, and after I took a closer look, neither was really that appealing to me. So, not wanting to be a cable guy anymore, and I wanted to find something new. I literally just bought a newspaper. I've been looking online and Monster and everything for about a month, and no success. And I actually bought a newspaper and put on a suit, left the house, and just looked at the ads. And I saw an ad for shuttle driver for a dune buggy rental company. So that's how I came to SunBuggy. And the thing that attracted me to SunBuggy once I came in and saw the location was actually that they build the dune buggies. So it's a very unique and special thing. I actually have an associate's degree in auto and diesel technology. In my younger years, I had aspirations to be an automotive engineer that kind of got derailed. So I thought it was really cool that I would be working somewhere where they build vehicles. So that's how I kind of landed on SunBuggy as a shuttle driver. And it wasn't very glamorous at first. I was driving up and down the strip in a van, picking up customers, and just hanging out at SunBuggy and the truck company trying to figure out how to grow. And there was only 4 or 5 people, I think, working there at the time.
Wow. So I guess what steps did you take at SunBuggy to, I guess like work your way up to where you are today?
I've always been kind of a aspirational. I want to see what I can do. I want to see what I can do better. I look at stuff and think, oh, is there a better way to do this, a better way to do that? And a lot of my previous positions, I've ended up at different companies in a position of manager or as a leader. Just I think it's kind of outside the norm. Most people just are fine doing what they've always done, and I'm never happy to stand still. I want to move forward, and I want to do better. And so I would just naturally, as driving a shuttle van at SunBuggy, think, oh, how could we get more customers? How could we advertise? How could we better reach people? And I had done a lot of sales and marketing at previous jobs, and so we started trying different things to reach out to different types of customers.
Awesome. So I guess in those days, what strategies did you use to reach more customers?
Well, in Vegas, there's a lot of companies kind of set up and fail within 6 months to a year. So at the time, most of the bookings were through concierges. So you go to your hotel and you go to your concierge, hey, book me a tour or something fun to do. It's less of a thing now with everybody having the internet in their pocket. But at the time, that was the main way that you would reach customers. And you would go to the hotels and the concierges and say, hey, I got this new thing. And for the most part, they've already heard so many different new things that aren't around anymore. They're not very interested. They say, oh, yeah, that's fine. We got Grand Canyon tours. That's the big thing. It has been for I guess, a million years in Vegas. You can hop on a bus or a helicopter and go see the Grand Canyon. So we didn't get a lot of traction there. But one thing that really started to work for us was large corporate events. And it was new to everybody here. We didn't really know about, a meeting planner or a destination planner. So what is a DMC? What is a meeting planner? And we started looking them up and figuring out that there's these people that just host big companies going to cities. And so the question came up, well, how do we reach these people? And with my experience in the past, having been with telemarketing prior, I said, well, let's call them. So that's what we did. We sat down and we started calling these meeting planners and having meetings and show, hey, we got these dune buggies. We can throw these unique corporate parties out in the dunes. And once we did a few of those, it became very popular. People said, hey, we could do this new thing. And it's something I think they were yearning for, something new and different, unique, not the same old, because at that level, you're trying to earn the customer by having a unique offering. So they're all about something different, as contrary to the concierge that just want to do what they've always done. And, they're not looking for new customers. They're just servicing their walk-ups. Right. So that really launched it for us.
So would you say that as Vegas has become more of a destination for conferences and things of that sort, has that helped your business grow as well?
Yeah, we definitely have, the dune buggies, and we have ATVs, and the dune buggies are a higher end product. We just have to charge more. It just costs more to do them. You can't put as many on a trailer. We build them here in house. So a dune buggy customer is a $300 customer versus a ATV customer is a $100 customer. And Vegas is always full. They just change the room rates. So in convention season, when you've got Oracle and all these big corporations here for CES or the SEMA show or World of Concrete, all the construction companies come out. Those are the whales. Those are executives that are here on the company dollar, and they have a lot of disposable income, and they'll come out and do dune buggies. So there's definitely a convention season. And then there's an off convention season. Is generally summer when school's out. So it's more families and kids, and those are our goldfish. So we still stay pretty busy, and we actually do a lot of volume, but in a lower price category.
Right. So you mentioned that early when you guys started that you were doing more phone calls, but I guess today that shifted more to LinkedIn or cold email, or like what's been the best way to get new clients to find out about SunBuggy in 2023?
It's as old as the day is long. It's word of mouth. And word of mouth nowadays is reviews, Google and Yelp and TripAdvisor and Facebook and social media. But there's nothing like showing the customers a good time and having them go home and brag to everybody about how much fun they had in Vegas at SunBuggy. So we've done all kinds of advertising. There's these booklets they distribute on the strip. We've had rack cards on all the racks, and that generates some business. It does. We actually at one point had a dune buggy display on the baggage carousel at the airport for a while, which is not cheap. And there's a famous quote about advertising. I think it's Richard Branson. I'm wasting half my money on advertising, but I don't know which half. So it's really tough, and it's really nice to have like a Google Analytics, and you can say, aha, this many people bought. But even at that, you don't know how many people were just searching for SunBuggy, and you had to buy your own customers. So above and beyond all that stuff is people that come out here, have a really unique and really fun experience that they can't have anywhere else, and tell their friends and come back. We'll have a corporate event and see the same guy 6 months later with a bachelor party, and another year later he's here with his family. So that's the driving the growth factor at SunBuggy is the customers.
Okay, so by the way, Scott, how much traffic you're getting from your website?
Well, there's a lot of web traffic. We have a lot of content on our site. So we do get a lot of web hits that are close to, not everybody knows there's dune buggies. So from a marketing aspect, making people aware that there's dune buggies. So we do have a lot of Vegas relevant content on our site, which draws a lot of traffic. And we do have a little bit of a advertising budget for keywords and all that. But there's, I don't know, 50, 60,000 hits a month on the website.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to know. But you know, your website do have some problems as well. Like there are some errors. I just by the way, I just reviewed before this meeting. I just reviewed your website, and I came to know like there are some errors over there, and its SEO score is a bit low for now, and but you still are getting good traffic. This is something really good, and I think if you go for some SEO work on your website, and if you can fix your website a bit, like maybe make it a bit more modern, make it a bit more UI friendly and UX friendly, then you will be going to get a lot of the traffic as well, like a lot more traffic. I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. We've done a lot with different marketing firms with our website over the years. We're actually doing a clean sheet revamp of the whole thing because it's evolved so much over time that there's kind of a lot of spaghetti holding it together. But there's more that meets the eye on the public side of the site. So we are doing a clean sheet rebuild right now.
Right, yeah. They always say, people tell me, technology moves in dog years. It's like it just moves so quickly. It's like you might update
Yeah.
something 2 years ago, and then it's just, I guess my question for you is, so in terms of like, if somebody's watching this today, like just to get into be in your shoes today, because basically, just from my understanding, is that you sort of took a risk. You joined SunBuggy in the early stages. Like, what can somebody look for in a company if they're going to join a team of a company that can really grow and scale to kind of this magnitude?
It's never one big thing. It's always a lot of little things. Um, our team wears uniforms. I mean, and that you can't just have a team of people wearing uniforms and all of a sudden you're successful. But it's a little bit different than when you go to Joe Bob's ATV company and there's a bunch of guys in t-shirts and jeans. You're not really sure who's the ones working there. So it's all the little things. It's all the little details, and all the little details add up. You can't outsource everything. I mean, there's all kinds of companies that want to make your website for you, want to do your HR for you, want to build your vehicles, maintain your fleet. Those are all things that if you outsource them, you don't have as much creative control, and it limits your ability to move as a company. We've actually used a lot of booking systems. There's a lot of out-of-the-box booking systems now, like well, I don't want to name names, but there's basically companies that cater to tour companies so that hey, you can do all your bookings through us. And I've demoed all of them, and they're all great, and they're all kind of a walled garden. They do a lot of stuff to just lock you into it, and we actually have built our own customer management system from the ground up over the years that we need a feature, and we program it, and we have that control, and we have that flexibility, and so when you can do stuff in-house. It don't always take the easy way, and it's a lot of little things. It's never one big thing.
No, 100%. Yeah, go ahead, Qasim.
Yeah, I believe your website is also developed in-house. I can see like this is developed in PHP core, and obviously this is developed by some developer. This is not an automatically generated website.
Yeah,
This is something someone developed, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like I always like we always tell our clients, like, that's the best way to do it, Scott. Just like a lot of people use all these third-party companies, and the companies own their data, they own all their information, they don't own anything. And we tell our clients, say, hey, listen, like, that's the best way to do it. Like, do it custom, own everything. It's your data, it's your customers. Like, why would you let someone else, manage and own that for you?
Yeah.
You can't really have a competitive advantage if someone else is doing your website, because if I say I come up with some type of unique system for rentals or support or service, and I have my vendor do that, it doesn't matter that there's a disclaimer that it's top secret and everything like that. They're not going to be able to go to their next client and not implement those same solutions and use it as something that they've added to their repertoire because you had them develop it. So that's the main reason we have done everything in-house. We actually have experimented with using different vendors, outsourced vendors, and every time we run into this wall at some point or another, nope, you can't do that. Nope, the system doesn't that. Can you implement that? No, we can't. And so, yeah, you're right. They own your data. They own your business processes is the big thing. I always talk to my developers here. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Little Britain, the comedy skit show. And there's a skit in there. The lady that her saying is computer says no. And the thing from it that you can get from it is that your software defines your business process. And so if you have to build your company around somebody else's software, you can't innovate your business process. So that's why we want to do it in-house, and it's really the hard way, but and it's a long journey, but it lets us do some innovative stuff that you won't see at other rental companies.
That's smart. And I would ask also, so in terms of systems or software, like you were talking about in-house systems, I guess what do you, like, what systems do you love, or like what do you love about it and what do you not like in terms of things that you're using every day?
You know, we for the longest time we were all on Ubuntu. I've got an IT background. I didn't go to school for IT, but I taught myself programming way back in the 80s, and you know, always been a techie guy. So when the company was small and people's computers weren't working, you know, I was the guy to go in and fix it. And people were having problems with, you know, MySpace Messenger and all kinds of crap popping up on their systems. Like, oh, I know how to fix this. I would just wipe the drive and put a Ubuntu Linux install on there and say, here you go. You know, and you don't have these issues anymore. So for the longest time, we were on Ubuntu. We also use the Google Workspace Enterprise, which is a great system. And recently started using the Chrome OS Flex, which you can take the Chrome operating system and install them on commodity hardware. So it's great. You sit down at any desk in the company, you log into your Chrome OS with your sunbuggy.com username, and there it is. There's your bookmarks, your browser, your saved passwords. Everything is right there, and it follows you around. And so that's been our recent, the last, I guess, year and a half or so. We've migrated off of Ubuntu Linux to Chrome OS for all our desktops, and Google Workspace is how we do our collaboration and communications.
That's cool. So I guess as of right now, like, what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, I'll sometimes joke with the crew that I'm in the sanitation department. You know, I kind of architect stuff and say, okay, here's our processes. Here's how you're going to answer sales calls. Here's how this is going to work or that's going to work. And so when something gets messy, I go in and clean it up. You know, so it's an administrative. And I mean, my favorite part is innovation, you know, getting into a problem and trying to find a better way to solve it. You know, I look at stuff that we do day in and day out, and I think, why do we do it that way? And sometimes it's just because you've always done it that way, and it doesn't occur to anybody that you don't really have to do that step, like a step you can just eliminate from a check-in process or whatnot. So I try and just keep my eyes open and look around. I spend a lot of time just walking around the company and seeing what everybody's doing, which to everybody else doesn't look like work, you know. But early on, you know, when things started getting complicated and there's more than, you know, 5 or 10 people working, you realize that if you have your head down in the trenches, sometimes you can't get a view of the big picture. So I do have, you know, administrative, you know, data entry and reports and stuff that I do, but a lot of it is just kind of looking around and seeing what's coming and trying to plan and innovate.
That's cool. So you mentioned also like high quality at SunBuggy, right? So when you're hiring somebody new, like what do you look for? Like for somebody, because you know, it seems like it's a great place to work. It seems like that you're making sure that you have the best people. Like, how do you make sure that the best people are working at SunBuggy?
Well, I think, you know, it comes down to motivation. You really got to look at what motivates people. If it's only money, it's very hard to motivate them to do anything without putting a dollar sign on it. You know, you can say, okay, here's your hourly rate. And they say, well, I'm going to also have you take care of this. Well, that's not included in my current job description. Let's renegotiate my salary. So what we look for is we look for someone that would enjoy working for a dune buggy rental company. We always joke that we look for the keyword on the F word on the application, that if they use the word fun, then that's probably the people that need to work here. So you have someone that not necessarily looking for a job to pay their bills, but that understands that this is how you spend a great portion of your life. Sitting in the office, or if you're a tour guide, you're charging through the desert in a dune buggy all day. So for a lot of people, they have the understanding that, well, that might be more fun than stringing cable up, or doing drywalls or framing or whatever other kind of job, that they've had in the past. They think, I don't really like mowing lawns, but I kind of have fun at SunBuggy. So that's, the F word. We look for fun on the application. That we have actually a question on this, is what compelled you to come apply for this job? So we look for people to say, I want a fun job. And that's really key, that we're in a entertainment business and the people are here for fun. So if the staff isn't having fun, if they're dreading the next customer interaction, then it shows. The customers feel it, like, oh God, this guy's got to take me on tour and he's just hating life, So with the shuttle driver, got to pick them up and they're just irritated with the traffic, So the people here are really actually having a good time, and that's kind of our secret sauce. The owner of the company was previously very successful in the roofing industry. I mean, very successful in the roofing industry, had a very large company, and had young children. And as a family, they would enjoy off-road recreation. So when he thought about how he spends his time, and how, when the kids get older, getting them involved in the family business, he didn't really like the idea of throwing them up on a roof spreading tar. And I said, boy, I spend all my time at work. Why don't I do something fun? So when I started here, he would spend his time with SunBuggy, and then he'd have roofing charts all over his desk where he's bidding roofs for his roofing company that was still winding down, and funding the dune buggy business. And he always used to say that he figured out how to make a small fortune in the dune buggy business, and the secret was to start with a large fortune.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah, so we didn't make money for a few years.
Right. So I guess, and just to wrap this up and conclude, like, I mean, we, like Qasim and myself, started a company not that long ago. Like, what advice do you have for us, like, as people that are new founders starting a place, like a new company? What's the biggest piece of advice that we should look for to get to the level of, SunBuggy one day?
Follow your passions and do what you love. It makes everything just better. It's its own motivation. To follow your passions and do something you love, because whether you believe you come back or reincarnate or whatever, if you only go around once, you're going to spend a lot of time at work, especially when you're starting a company or running a company. It's not just like a regular 9 to 5. So do something that you enjoy and that you want to do and want to spend your time doing, and the rest will probably work itself out.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and we learned a lot. But yeah, thanks again, and I was glad to have you on our podcast.
All right, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thanks,
and I learned one thing from you, Scott, that we should add fun in our business. Like, maybe this is something important to add in the business.
Yeah, it's sometimes the fun way is not the easy way, but it's more interesting. So it's compelling.
Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again,
All right.
Scott.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.